Hello, I'm Tom Rothman, co-chairman of 20th Century Fox, and welcome to the Fox Movie Channel. We're glad to have you with us tonight.
Through early morning fog I see.
The story of how MASH became a movie at 20th Century Fox begins with a phone call late one afternoon in 1969 from Ingo Preminger, who was Otto Preminger's brother, to the legendary and brilliant Dick Zanuck, who was then head of production for Fox under his father, Darryl Zanuck, till his father fired him, but that's another story. Preminger, who ran a successful literary agency representing authors and writers, told Zanuck that he'd come across a small novel by a man named Richard Hooker that he was so sure would make a hit movie, he was considering selling his agency and becoming a producer to make it. Zanuck took the book home that night, read it, called Preminger in the morning, and is said to have opened the conversation with the words, "Sell your business. We're going to make the picture."
Amen. Amen.
Preminger did that, and when MASH went on to become a tremendously successful breakthrough countercultural hit, along with the basis for one of television's longest-running series, Preminger's decision proved remarkably prescient.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There were, however, as there almost always are, many, many slips between the cup of that first telephone call and the lips of the finished and successful film. MASH had maybe more pitfalls than usual because it was and remains today a truly groundbreaking movie. It's actually the birth of a whole new genre, the anti-war black comedy.
I'm Dr. Jekyll, actually. This is my friend, Mr. Hyde.
Zanuck had hired Ring Lardner Jr. to do the screenplay adaptation, and this was the first of a series of very unusual choices. Lardner had himself been a member of the so-called Hollywood 10 blacklisted filmmakers who were denied work for refusing to testify in the McCarthy hearings, so his anti-authoritarian ethos was deeply ingrained.
You really put me off. I mean, you're what we call a regular Army clown.
I wonder how a degenerated person like that could have reached a position of responsibility in the Army Medical Corps.
He was drafted.
Lardner would actually go on to win the Academy Award for his screenplay for MASH, and while some then and since sniped that much of the dialogue was improvised, so perhaps he didn't deserve it, this actually betrays a total lack of understanding of the screenwriter's craft. Great screenwriting is about structure, not about dialogue. But great films are also, very clearly, about great filmmaking. And the startlingly new, shockingly graphic, and absurdist tone of MASH heralded the arrival of one of the great agent provocateurs of the contemporary cinema, Robert Altman. Altman was not the first choice to direct MASH. Indeed, he wasn't the second, or the third, or the 10th choice. Many notable directors, including Stanley Kubrick himself, passed before the studio and the producer came all the way down the list to a man who had directed only 2 very forgettable features and a bunch of television episodes. But that's where the alchemy and the mystery of great movies happens, because Robert Altman was exactly the man to make MASH. A perfect match of breakthrough talent paired with wholly original material. Now, as any executive or producer who, like myself, knew or worked with Altman can tell you, although he was justly beloved by actors, he was not a kind fellow to we suits. Not in the beginning, middle, or end of his career. He was, if charmingly so, in the director as son of a bitch school. He tried to fire Donald Sutherland the first day he came on MASH, and he hated all producers and executives as a matter of principle. Now, I've always wondered, does art require defiant opposition? Personally, I don't really think that it does. But maybe birthing new genres and breaking old forms requires it. And the reward for those who faced Robert Altman's slings and arrows is MASH, a movie about the Korean War, which was actually nakedly in opposition to the then Vietnam War, and which is as contemporary and relevant today as it was on its first day of release in 1970. Few films endure so many decades with a message so intact, because until the better day, when war is no longer part of our planet's DNA, MASH will enlighten and entertain. The end of the story of the making of MASH is as ironic as the beginning. MASH was not only a huge commercial success, but it was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture of the Year. It lost that Oscar to Fox's own Patton, a movie about a character for whom war was grand and glorious, proving once again that the lens of film can look at great subjects from many angles. But if you want to laugh at the pain and absurdity of war, you cannot beat the pros from Dover, the men and women of the Mobile Army Surgical Hospital Unit known as MASH. Thanks for watching. Hope you had fun. I'm Tom Rothman for the Fox Movie Channel. We'll see you next time.